Steve Yulberg here, and I am not at home. And we're checking signals because we're going to do our live stream today with Vi Wickam.
Hi, everybody.
And we're at Vi's in Loveland, Colorado.
So how do we,
And we're just checking signals because we haven't done this from here. Look at that big target behind us. That's pretty cool.
That's my halo. Watch.
Is that a halo?
My halo.
Yeah? Okay. But we are today, move you over here, we are going to be fiddling and whamdiddlin. Well, sort of whamdiddlin. I didn't bring the whamdiddle with me this time. I'm in Colorado.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it is picking it up.
All right.
So
I'm in Colorado for the Colorado Dulcimer Festival this weekend, which is in Littleton. And Vi is going to come and play with Aaron May and I so we can reprise our good times at the Colorado Dulcimer Festival.
for the nth time.
And that's always fun because then other people say, hey, Vi, remember when you did that with me last time? Could you play with me too?
That's right.
So-
that's right.
And, one thing about Vi is if he gets an invitation to play, he's going to say yes.
High likelihood.
But we're excited. It's been a year since we've been able to play together.
It has been too long.
Yeah. And so Wednesday LiveStream is something we've been doing since the beginning of the pandemic, and we're starting to be able to do some things that are beyond that. We continue the live stream, but today we want to focus on, hi, Abby. Yeah. We want to focus on what it means to play with somebody, which is the question a lot of people have asked. And Vi has done these things with me several times with jam play for guitar. And when we're in the same room playing like this, we get to do it. It's more difficult for us to do that when we are, separated and having to work through all kinds of audio interfaces with a lot of distance between us.
And share on all the different Facebook pages.
And yes, we're doing that at the same time too. But Vi, you got your fiddle. And the name for this is hog fiddle. That's one of the other names for a mountain dulcimer. So
It's appropriate.
It's appropriate. Yeah, let's do a little fiddling or a hog fiddling. Well, that was fun. Woodchopper's reel.
No.
No.
Fisher's hornpipe.
Fisher's hornpipe. Okay.
It's like Woodchopper's reel, but different.
Yeah. Well, part of why it's different for me is I always play that one on the hammer.
I realized that as soon as I started it. I was like, oh, wait.
Which is there is this limitation that comes with being a multi-instrumentalist is you can work on an arrangement and have it all set up on one instrument, and then it's time to play and you don't have that instrument.
If you're on a different instrument, you're like, oops.
So that's the joy for me. That's one of the joys is finding out where is it on this one. I know that some people just won't do it because they don't feel comfortable enough, but I don't know if I care. I know that Vi doesn't care.
I don't care. As long as we're playing,
we're happy. And I think that's the place that we want to encourage everybody to get to is get to the place where it's just good to play.
Heck yeah.
And remember, in the word play, there's no going wrong, right?
That's the truth.
You can't play wrong. You can work wrong. You can.
But we play music. We don't. I mean, sometimes we work music too, but it's different.
We work, but we don't really work music. We play music. Yeah.
At least
there can be industriousness with it.
That's the truth.
That's true. There. So, Woodchopper's Reel is also a 3-part tune, and Fisher's Hornpipe is a 3-part tune, and they have some similarities.
We could have some more parts. We could just keep adding parts.
We could keep adding parts?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It's part of the folk tradition.
Right. And some people subtract parts.
Not me. Always more parts.
So, let's just for a minute. What's your lowest note on there, Vi? On your
G.
You've got a G, which is at the 3rd fret. So I've got the F sharp, the E, and the D that are below that. So in terms of voicing, we have a lot that's the same, but a little that's different, and that fits into what we're doing because the first octave you're often playing in is where. Well, let me ask that. I don't know. Where do you normally think of this as my normal first octave? So the first octave is if he's starting at the high. He's starting where we would start on a mountain golfer at the 7th fret.
So that would be the high end kind of.
So a lot of what we tend to do in a mountain golfer is same place, right?
Yeah.
But we also have the octave that's below that. The complete octave. He has most of it, but that means that when we're putting an ensemble together, we're playing, trying to get out of each other's way. There are times to play at the exact same place, and that's unison. But there's times not to.
Well, and with it being a dulcimer, it's got the picky sound, so it's a sharp sound. It's a percussive sound, whereas the fiddle is a smooth sound.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have different textures, it allows them to not step on each other so much when they're in the same octaves.
Right. The timbre's different. And now here's the other thing that I miss with when I strum or pluck, the note has been created and it just rings, right? If I can do a little bit of English on here, a little bit of vibrato, but because Vi's playing a bowed instrument, he can affect the tone after the attack of the note happens. And he not only can do the vibrato with the left hand, but he can also vary what's happening with the bow. So he can do that quick stuff, but in a long tone, you can even vary that. So we have differences of what we can do. And that's one of the things we won't do. But how about Forked Deer?
Sure.
The trick ending, adding the
trick
different chord at the very end. So, what did we do different on that one?
What did we do different? So we played in unison. Then you accompanied me, and I played more improvising. Then I accompanied you, and then I kind of played around with it while you were playing around with it to bring it back home.
And I used a combination of open chords, which had drone stuff going with them, closed chords, so there was a clear chop, which let you hear even more clearly what the fiddle was doing. We got out of each other's way in octaves, and sometimes joined. We didn't do any doubling on this one. You did doubling on
It's true,
Fishers.
and I didn't do harmonies either.
Yeah. So, but there's a lot that can happen when we have a common repertoire that we can work with. And this was also a tune which has an A part and a B part that are in kind of two different keys. The A part's in D and the B part is in A until it goes back. But the thing about this one, it just kind of hangs in A.
Yeah, it does. It's totally like the B part stays in A until the turnaround, which the turnaround at the very end is back in the key of D. And it's the same turnaround to the A part, the B part, which is kind of a weird thing when you have the B part in a different key than the A part.
Right. Usually you have a clear, we're going here now. And this one, you just have to know, you have to pay attention.
Yep. That's right.
It's not going to help you out that way. So,
true facts.
Are we looking at the Dulcimer Crossing feed here?
There is the Dulcimer Crossing feed.
Okay, let's see if there's comments to answer.
Doug has made some comments down below. Doug Jones.
All right. Hi, Doug.
Has said a tremoloed vibrato, and it's so much different than when he learned guitar and ukulele. He's finding his way around his instrument. It feels that he only learned enough to play the tabs, but he doesn't really know the fretboard yet.
And that's where the work is, right? The work in understanding what's happening. So
no matter what instrument it is, learning the fingerboard or the fretboard. I don't have frets, by the way. Some of you sissies need frets.
Yes, we do. We inherited frets.
You inherited them. You have a limited number of frets to only play in the diatons.
The diatons, yeah. Well, but I retune and then I can do all kinds of stuff.
He can always retune.
But the work that comes in with music is learning how music works. That's the first thing. What are pitches? Do they go up or down? Do they match? That stuff. Then it takes some training. Some of us have an aptitude for it, but all of us have the industriousness for it. And we can sometimes say, well, I just don't have that gift. Yeah, but do you have the I wanna? Because if you have the I wanna, that can engage.
I wanna is good enough.
If you have the I wanna, that engages your industriousness. And Bach is the one that said anybody could do what I do if they were industrious enough. You just have to.
All you have to do is put in the 10,000 hours, and if you want to be Bach, it might be 50,000.
That's all. But when we do put it in and try to figure out ways to remember what we've put in, so that it's just not all brand new, which means doing it a lot. If we just do it once, our brain doesn't believe we're physically inclined toward this, so it doesn't give us any hard drive space. But when we do it often, and I'm thinking, when you were little, tell me about you and playing your fiddle or any other instrument your dad was having you teach.
All right. Well, when I was little, my dad made me practice every day before school, which I really hated. I would get so mad. And
what a great way to go to school.
Yeah, he's like, you have to play your fiddle before you can go to school. It's time to practice. And I'd be like, you're going to make me late for school. And he's like, no, if you just play and stop arguing with me, you won't be late for school. And so it was so bad that he wrote a song called Please Daddy Don't Make Me Practice, which would really get me livid. He'd start singing that song and I'd be like, all right, Dad, I'm so done. But I mean, for me, I love playing music, and I loved going to my grandpa's house, and we'd have practice. We wouldn't practice; we'd just play, and that was the difference. My dad wanted me to practice before school, which felt different to me at the age than it did to just go play music, play songs with my grandpa and my dad and my brothers at my grandpa's house, and it was more of a hangout and play music than you have to play your songs. And so I think that makes a big difference, is how it's framed and how you feel about it at the time. Because, when we'd go to the ice cream social or to the United Way fundraiser or whatever it was that our family band got hired to play, I loved getting on stage and playing for the audience and having them, clap for us and come up to us afterwards. Oh, that was so amazing.
Yeah.
That felt really good. But it wasn't until I won some money in a fiddle contest that I really wanted to practice.
Okay.
The practicing part, I wasn't the most disciplined kid,
And I would say for me, I wanted to play. My parents made me wait till I was 6 to take piano lessons. There were 2 piano teachers in town, and I think I lucked out with the one I got, just from what other people said. But I was one of those little, I had a butch cut. You can see it came back.
Yes.
And I had horn rimmed glasses. And anytime anybody had a piano and he said, I'll play my recital piece. There'd be some guy who's a professional there who just played this massive thing. And I'll say, well, I got a recital piece.
Why? Would you like to hear me play Twinkle, Twinkle Star? I'm really, really good at it.
And I'd play, and my mom would take pictures, and I look at those pictures, and I know this professional guy must have thought, this is never, never play with children.
I love it when kids play.
He would say that. Inside, he's going, never play with kids and animals. Just, the W.C. Fields thing.
Yep.
But it was, I must have been that annoying kid. I was really good at the beginning. And then that whole practice thing, Mom had a little kitchen timer that had to sit on the piano and tick, 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 tick. And I'd go through what I was supposed to, and I was done, and there's more time. It's like, now what? There was never any guidance with the now what. And
my dad was always like, just one more song. Just one more song.
And Mom would not even be in
timer.
She would be in the room, out of the room, and I go, speed it up. She goes, add 5 minutes.
That's funny. Different ways that parents annoyed us.
Yes, and I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, sometimes I'm grateful for it.
but the other thing is, not only how does music work, what's up and down and pitch and all that stuff, but how do the songs work? And the terror is
kind of how the song is.
When you're looking at a piano keyboard, 88 keys, there's all these white and black keys. There's all the options. It looks like I'm never going to be able to figure out what's the right thing to play. You have all the options, but without any of the white and black stuff on your fridge.
This is true.
But you figured out how to put your hands so that you get where you expect it to be.
Yeah. So James Fry says, anyone who hates small dogs and children can't be all bad. W.C. Fields also.
Yes. So learning how your instrument works is the other work.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How does this work on this instrument, but how does it work on that instrument?
And in this tuning even. I mean, one of the fun things that I do sometimes is I'll retune one of my violins to GDGB or ACAC sharp, or I'm sorry, AEAC sharp or AEAE or DDAD, and pick, or ADAD, pick a different tuning and then play some of the songs I'm really familiar with in that tuning, or take a tune that I know forwards and backwards and play it in all the different keys.
Yeah, yes.
Which really stretches you, because then you have to figure out where are all the string changes, where are all of the, how does this lay out with my fingers if I play Fischer's hornpipe in E flat or F or E or A or B flat instead of D. And I find that to be really fun now, but it was not easy to begin with.
Right. And it's kind of annoying when you're with someone who finds that to be fun now and wants to do it with you. But let's do it this way. Let's go back to the Mount Dulcimer National Anthem.
Yeah.
and let's play boiled cabbage.
All right.
But let's do it in D, and let's do it in G,
Boil them
and then
cabbage
A.
down, boys. Turn them hoe cakes round. Only song that I can sing is boil them cabbage down.
So let's do it in D, and then G, and then A.
All right. I wasn't expecting such fast switches.
So, the fast switches.
I was thinking we should sing it as well.
Oh, you do love singing this.
I do love,
Okay.
all of the body verses.
Let's go do one of them.
All right,
in A
sure.
or D?
I don't care. Bought my gal bicycle, she learned to ride it well. So she rode into a telephone pole and busted it all to pieces. Boil them cabbage down, boys, turn them hoe cakes round. The only song that I can sing is boil them cabbage down. Took my gal to the blacksmith shop to have her mouth made small. She turned around a time or two and she swallowed and shot it all. Boil them cabbage down, boys, turn them hoe cakes round. The only song that I can sing is boil them cabbage down. One more time. Boil them cabbage down, boys, turn them hoe cakes round. The only song that I can sing is boil them cabbage down.
Yeah, those are fun.
They
are
are
fun.
And
But-
those were the family-friendly ones.
And what I did was use the 5-finger capo method, where I didn't retune or anything. I just moved up to the 3rd fret and used my chord shapes that fit there, and then used them again at A. And when it was time to play single string melody, I just made sure my drones didn't touch if they weren't going to work with it. What did you do to move to a new key?
I changed what notes I was playing.
Yeah, but was your orientation, am I going to orient this on a different string, or did you go up the...
So I did a combination of the two, because I play this in 2 or 3 different octaves on the violin. So when I started in G, I started in the same octave with different fingerings as A.
Okay.
But, I could have gone...
Because he has a G string with a D drone.
And A, I could have just...
A string with the E drone.
Or I could...
And when you use different fingerings, do new ideas pop up for what could...
For sure.
Yeah,
that's one of the fun things about playing in different keys or playing with different tunings is different stuff pops out of my fingers unintentionally. And if something different flies out of my fingers, then what comes to my fingers next is different too.
It's different. Yeah.
So it's like, if I do something unexpected, I react to that then.
Yeah.
Or I respond to that. And that creates something more interesting than what might have happened otherwise.
Now, this is ancient history. Go back in time and say something new came out of my fingers. Did you freak out, or you'd say, wow, cool?
I'd say, wow, cool.
Yeah, that's kind of Vi's personality. There's a lot of people who play music who are really worried about doing it wrong.
Yeah, well, and I probably had that switch flip when I was about 15. So I've been playing 7 or 8 years at this point, and I went to Weezer, to the National Fiddle Contest.
Which is coming up.
Which Doug said that he heard that verse about the bicycle over the song Cindy. And so the cool thing about a lot of these old tunes is that you can interchange, because they're structurally similar, you can interchange those verse lyrics.
Yeah.
And I've heard Cindy and Boil Them Cabbage Down swap. There's a half dozen other tunes that you can do the same thing with. Like June Apple also you can do. Yeah. Wish I had a June apple hanging from a tree. Every time a girl walk by, she'd take a bite of me.
Which is a Cindy lyric quite easily.
Yeah. Also, but when I was 15, I went to Weezer and I heard these songs all played differently than I played them. And when I came home from hearing, 30 other fiddlers who are my age, who were much more accomplished technically than I was, or, out of the 63 in my division, I came out 56th. So, I thought I was pretty good until I went there. And I had, it really overwhelmed me with the number of variations. And I took Sally Johnson, which is, the basic tune. That's the basic tune. And I just started playing around with it in different octaves.
You hear that?
So started playing, I was playing with it very slowly, and, if it didn't come out, I'd try it again. And I spent maybe a month just playing around with that tune, at halftime or slower. And some of it worked and some of it didn't work, but I was playing around with how can I change this tune and make something that's different and interesting than what I'd done before.
And that's the question I've heard a lot of the people are commenting, ask, how does it still stay the same tune? How far can you stretch it?
Well, does it still sound like the same tune? That's really the answer.
Yeah.
So I find that when you look at these tunes, there is a skeleton to the tune. Mm-hmm. So if I think for Sally Johnson, or something like that would be kind of the skeleton. And then as long as what you're doing kind of feels like that, you're going to be okay. And where people stretch it too far is when they think that playing within the chords is good enough. So, most of these fiddle tunes or dulcimer tunes are follow the same kind of chord structures. There's one chord structure that probably covers 80% of the tunes, 90% of the way. There's variations on this.
Yeah.
Boil them cabbage down. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, like Cindy, Sally Johnson, Sally Gooden, you can play those same chords. Bless me. So, sticking to the chords isn't good enough. It's not jazz. It's an entirely different tradition for improvising.
And so, just to go back, you were playing in the group that was your age,
13 to 18, yeah.
Which is the way Weezer does. This is the official title is.
So that's the junior division.
No, the official title of the whole.
The National Old Time Fiddlers Contest.
National Old Time Fiddlers Contest been going on since the early 50s.
Somewhere in the 50s.
Yeah. And
it was the official national contest starting in the 60s, but the contest was before that.
Okay. And then there's all these different age groups. So you're going and you played with your family band. You played, because your dad made you.
And I had played in fiddle contests in Colorado and Wyoming, and I usually came in first or second, so I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. And then he goes to the big pond.
And I got spanked.
He was seventh from the lowest.
Yeah.
And but your response to that wasn't, I'm going to throw my fiddle away.
No, it was, I better go practice.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as good as I think I am.
And these other people had great ideas that caught your attention.
And so, I went home and I tried to figure out how were they making those sounds. I recorded a bunch of different people's rounds as well when I was there so that I could listen to them later. I recorded the rounds of the people who were playing in the championship division, which is that's where the big boys play. I play there sometimes. Sometimes I play in the adult division today, but depends on what's going on that year and whether I feel like taking on the big boys. Or
have I sharpened my teeth? No, that's not the way you go about it. I know that one of the things.
Sharpened my bow.
The way Vi and I have talked about this is he says, when he walks into a room, he's scanning to see who here is better than me, and then he goes to them because he figures he can learn something. And I realized as soon as he said that, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm going, who here's better than me? And I run the other way. That's my first inclination is I better get away.
No, I do look for people who are really great musicians to learn from.
Yeah.
That is my
and the awareness of that is what I'm trying to now consciously make. I want to see what's going on over here. I want to be attracted
that I
to
can
it.
learn from.
Yeah. And I can appreciate it. And that helped me tremendously in the national championship for dulcimers is I would be terrified of all these other great people. And then I started listening to what they were doing. It's like, I'm inspired by that.
Yeah.
I'm inspired so much I want to change what I'm going to do today, but that's a real bad idea.
Yes. Which,
perform what you practice. That's what you should do.
That first year when I went to Weezer, I wanted to incorporate the things I was hearing into my music right then and there. And that was it really did. I think it threw me off my game, and I probably didn't play as well as I could have because of that feeling of being overwhelmed by how many good players there were and how they, there were a lot of people who were more advanced, more skilled players than I was. And, it wasn't necessarily that they had more technical prowess on the instrument as much as they had worked out different arrangements. And they knew, they knew the style of music better than I did at the time.
That's the other thing. It was old time style.
It was a different style.
It wasn't Texas fiddling.
Well,
it wasn't swing fiddling.
And what I was playing was our family band music mostly, and I'd learned some fiddle tunes, but I didn't learn them in the way that they play them in fiddle contests or the way Texas style players played them. I just learned it from this lady in Wyoming who was a good fiddler, and
Now the other thing, there's one other thing before we go because we're going to run out of our time. Oh my goodness, we're over time.
We should play more tunes.
We should play another tune.
Yeah, but obviously.
There's one thing that you talked about. There's a skeleton in the tune, but you didn't start from the skeleton, right?
No,
because it's like meeting a person. You don't go, how many bones you got in here? You don't just touch them and do that, right? But a lot of the ways in the dulcimer world we have learned tunes is skeleton first.
Well, and
that's not a bad idea. But
I often teach the skeleton as a beginner version because if I'm playing Angeline the Baker, I don't need. just need.
And that's helpful to know.
Yeah.
If on your music it says elemental or skeleton or something like that.
And it's
only because a lot of people learning dulcimer are already very experienced in their life.
Sure.
And they're learning this thing. And sometimes they've been told this is the tune.
Oh, that's a problem right there.
Right.
Whether you're learning somebody's version of this or you're learning the skeleton, very often younger players will learn the Mark O'Connor or the Daniel Carwile or Matthew Hart's arrangement of a tune, which is a great thing to learn, but they also think that that's the tune.
Right.
And they don't realize that that's one person's arrangement of that tune that they played one time.
Yeah.
When Matthew Hart's or Daniel Carwile plays a tune, they don't play it the same way twice in a row. Like they are playing from their heart, and they're playing the music that flows out of their fingers. They will have common themes each time they play it, because there will be like licks that are part of their repertoire of licks, or the way they like to play that tune. But it's going to be a little different every time. And when you learn one of these tunes, it's important to understand what that scaffolding or skeleton of the tune is. But it's also important to learn, like, here's some things I can do with that.
And that may be, you have not heard someone else do what you're coming up with. You might initially say, that's a mistake. I didn't play it right. But you played it this way now. Who's to say that's wrong?
It's just different.
And you may not want to do that again. You may say,
creative opportunities.
That was a creative sketch that we're going to leave in the sketchbook. But this one over here, we're going to put on the ink, right? We're going to make that one.
Well, that's the only way that new ideas come into the world, is by, what some people would call a mistake. And instead, you can just look at it as a creative opportunity to do something a little bit different.
Why don't we, let me grab the Gaelic.
You're going to grab a different one?
Yeah. And let's... let's go out with this. How about that?
All right, what are we going out with?
Let's...
who are we going out with now?
Who are we going... Yeah, who well, let's go see Miss McLeod.
All right.
And I ended on G and he ended on D, and we both twinned at the same time and stopped twinning at the same time.
Yes.
That's
which really reminds me of the first time I met you.
Yeah. We sat down to play some tunes and say, what do we have in common? So I said, well, about Golden Slippers? And you said, oh yeah, Golden Slippers. It's a Hammer Dulcimer national anthem. I had the Hammer Dulcimer. So I started playing in G because I know that's where it is. And he started playing in D thinking it was a dulcimer. And we looked at each other and laughed, and we started over. And I moved
because
to D.
the old time fiddlers that I had heard play it played it in D.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that piece of the story.
So that was, like the context I had was like the old time fiddlers in Colorado played it in D mostly. So he started playing it in G. I started playing it in D. We got about 2 measures in, and we both switched to the other person's key. And we played another measure. Then we both switched back.
And then we had our big audition to do the Streetmansphere stuff on the streets of Fort Collins. We said, let's do Golden Slippers. And we did the same darn thing.
For good fun.
It became a
shtick. It was a thing.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
Well, thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for joining in.
The Dulcimer Crossing Wednesday live stream.
Woo!
This was archived on the Facebook page. It's archived on our site. And workshop members have access to this. I believe this one might live in we have a whole course of these now.
Oh, man.
And I think this one might live in the tunes.
A tune is of course.
Tunes from the rabbit hole or something like that.
Tune of a course.
Yeah. But it'll be there as soon as it gets all processed.
Well, thank you for having me join you on this.
Yeah, thank you, Vi.
Dulcimer stream as an outsider fiddler.
Well, but Vi teaches lessons at Dulcimer Crossing on fiddles. And also
on mytalentforge.com.
Keep
calm and fiddle on.
mytalentforge.com.
mytalentforge.com.
And we'll look forward to seeing you as soon as we can do this again.
That's right.
Thank you.
Adios.
Okay, now I got to find the little, there it is.